A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail.
Well, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Vertu Motors Arena here in Newcastle for tonight's WBBL clash between the Newcastle Eagles and the visitors, the Leicester Riders. The Leicester Riders have got a 1-2 record in the league. And the Eagles at the bottom of the table at the moment on 0-3, and there was a lot of promise about the Eagles roster before the season started, and they started fantastically well with 2 great cup wins, which has taken them to the semi-final. Leicester did likewise. They won all 3 of their cup games, and they also reached the semi-final, and these 2 teams will play each other in the BBL Cup semi-final. So this league game is a real tester for both of them, so they can look at each other before playing that semi-final. For the Eagles, we've got one surprise, I think, in the lineup today. That's the return of Marina Fernandez. Wasn't expected to be fit for another couple of weeks. I know Dave's already spoken to somebody and they said she's about 50 to 60% fit, but she's the captain of the team, or one of the captains of the team, and she really is keen to play, so she might well play some minutes tonight. A lot could depend on how the game goes. But as I said, mentioned Dave's name there, and as always, Dave's alongside me. And Dave, your thoughts, please.
Well, we've had some classic games between these 2 teams and some really belters last year, but the results so far, what you pointed out there, would suggest that the Riders at the moment are probably in the better form of these 2 teams. Disappointing news, obviously, about Courtney Klassen. But much better news that Ebony Horton, who I think had an injury situation in the game against Caledonia Pride, is fit to play tonight. And you've mentioned that Marina Fernandez Pardew will make a debut. It was me that spoke. I spoke to Coach Bunton before the game, and he seemed, although he probably was rated to no more than 50-60%, he was quite confident that she would be able to play a role in tonight's game. I mean, outside of that, obviously, we know what Abby Lowe was able to do for the team. She hasn't hit those heights yet, but she's certainly capable of it. And another capable girl who clearly we're going to have to rely on at this stage of the season is Rachel Bland. The biggest major adjustment for this team is they did fantastically well last year, and one of the huge reasons for that was the contribution made by Ali Gorel, and that's something that this team has got to adjust to very, very quickly.
Yeah, and then looking at the Leicester bench as well, when their team was introduced, their captain, Brooklyn McLear Fannis, she's in a boot and not suited up, so that's going to be a blow for them. A couple of the players that obviously I'm looking forward to seeing: Chelsea Jennings, very dynamic guard indeed, and she's been averaging, I think, about nearly 15 points a game. McConnor Stone, the 5'11" forward, she's starting to hit her straps, as they say, since coming across from America. But the one who really interests me, and the one I think is going to cause the Eagles a lot of problems today, is number 34, Oshana Hamilton, 6'3" centre, she's only averaging 7 points a game, but she's averaging 15 rebounds a game, and nobody seems to be able to find a way to stop her getting those rebounds at the moment.
Well, obviously she's got Canadian background, hasn't she? I'm intrigued here because there seems to be more than the normal number of non-nationals in this team, so I guess there's some British passport holders in this team, and obviously they wouldn't be licensed unless they were eligible to play. She'd take up a lot of space inside. The Eagles are probably lacking a little bit of height this year, and brought in the Spanish girl, was it Perez last year?
Yeah.
I thought really improved as the season went on, and that basically to me is what this Eagles team is about. They have to, from that Oaklands game which we both watched here 2-3 weeks ago, they have to make some real improvements in a lot of areas.
And obviously, as you mentioned, Ali Gorel, no longer here, and she's averaging over 20 points a game. It's a big thing to cover for, isn't it?
It's not the 20 points a game.
It's leadership.
Tremendous mental attitude. Yeah. She made that team believe.
And of course, as you mentioned as well about Courtney Klassen, it's a real shame because we just don't know how good Courtney would have been in this league. I mean, she came in with a reasonably good reputation, and it's just a shame. And we gather she is done for the season and will be going home in a couple of weeks' time to get some surgery. But I know Chris Button's already talking about bringing her back for next season.
Well, that's probably a little bit premature. She got a serious injury to get over first.
So it's Hamilton versus Gaynor for the tip. Referee Dodds puts it up, and no surprise that Hamilton wins it. And it's Lappin Cooper, the German, to Januskaus. There's Hannah Robb for 3, doesn't go. Maddie McVicker goes up for the rebound, but number 23 there, the cornerstone, gets her hands to it, and the recycle. Here's Hamilton going inside on Gaynor, doesn't go though. And Marina Ferrandez, who not only is only 50% fit, but she's actually starting. She finds Ebony Horton, and Ebony Horton opens the scoring for the Eagles, floats it in for 2 points.
I mean, both these rosters, Jeff, have made quite a lot of changes from last year, but obviously Lachlan Poe was one of the players who was here last year, as was Rob.
Yeah, I think obviously Xenia Stewart and Holly Winterburn, two of the big players for Leicester last year, they both went to London for the European experience.
I think Leicester's biggest loss from last year was Kate Oliver.
Yeah.
Oh, and Henrik's daughter as well.
Yeah.
I had really rated her as a player.
That's going to be a block on Maddie McVicker. Maddie looks at the referees to say she thought she had position, but I don't think she did. I think it's a good call.
Well, Maddie McVicker had a terrific partnership in the backcourt last year with Ali Gorel, so she's obviously got to find some new friends this year.
Yes, Lappin Cooper.
She's pretty easy to play with. I mean, one thing we know about Maddie is you can't leave her wide open. She's going to knock down some threes for you.
Januska got a good rebound there. There's Hannah Robb going in, but she can't make the shot.
Now, unfortunately, the shot didn't match the quality of the Euro step.
And that's going to be a foul on Hamilton, Oceana Hamilton. First foul, push on Chloe Gaynor. That is one way of stopping a 6'3" centre, getting her in foul trouble. 8:31, Eagles lead 2-0. Popovich inbounds to McVicker. Horton. Oh, what a great pass from McVicker to Horton. Horton misses the layup though. Fantastic court vision from Maddie McVicker, and you've really got to make those layups.
The second offense in a row, isn't it, where the movement leading to the shot has been far better executed than the shot itself. That was a great flick off the back screen. Well executed play, deserved a bucket. And another one, another good executed play. Great give and go. Simple move, well effective, but again, finishing product nowhere near as good.
Hannah Robb has leveled the game up, and as you say, there's been some really good passes into the players, but they just haven't been able to finish. 2 weeks to score at the moment. There's Ebony Horton, heaves one off the glass, doesn't go. Rebound taken by Stone. Yes, Lappin Cooper. Robb once again going to the basket, doesn't make it. Chloe Gaynor's doing really well in the early going against Hamilton. That's a great pass again by Fernandez to Horton. Horton is the ball stolen. No, she fights for it back. It's going to be a jump ball, and the arrow's in the Eagles' favour. Maddie McVicker will inbound from the sideline to Ebony Horton. Horton, the ball bounces off the feet. 9 seconds on the shot clock.
It's one of those games where the build-up's good, but the build-up's been so good you would expect a different score to 2-2 after 3 minutes.
Yeah, nice shot from Chloe Gaynor, found by Popovich from the inbounds play. Makes it 4-2 to the Eagles.
Well, I think it's nice if she's got some range. I think it's going to be an important thing, because that means Hamilton's got to be pulled away from the basket.
Fernandez, good defense, but Lappin Cooper picks up the loose ball. She's going to drive at the basket. Oh, great block by Chloe Gaynor to stop the pass getting to Hamilton. Chloe Gaynor started this game really well. Maddie McVicker steps back with that short, but Marina Fernandez underneath the basket manages to rescue it for the Eagles. Horton back to Fernandez. Fernandez for 3. That hits the front of the rim, comes down and is taken by Lappin Cooper. Gives it to Robb. Robb into Stone. Stone's shot is off. Gaynor takes another rebound. Quarterback pass from Fernandez. But Hannah Robb got back well to intercept it. Eagles making early changes. McVicker and Fernandez coming off.
Well, that change with Fernandez would suggest she's maybe going to be on limited minutes.
Eachforth Yates and Kelshaw coming on for the Eagles. Neve Kelshaw. Jessica, oh yeah, Ebony Horton for 3, makes it 7-2. Good start from the Eagles, 6:04 still to go in the first quarter. Ebony Horton up to 5 points personal. Eachforth Yates, Lappin Cooper for 3, that's well off. Hamilton manages to get it back, but isn't able to get it. Eachforth Yates, Horton, Popovich tried to find Eachforth Yates. Probably could have got the basket herself, I would have thought.
That was one of those things where passes can go straight, layups don't.
Dora Sipic coming in.
Yeah, well, if the Leicester scouting report, Jeff, doesn't know that Ebony Horton can knock the shots down, it better change its mind quickly.
It's interesting you just mentioned the scouting report there for Leicester, and obviously they've got a brand new coach as well. Not just Derek Washington, Jesper Sundberg moving on. One of the best coaches probably that's been in the BBL. Yes, Stone. Januskas. Back to Stone. Stone, good footwork, driving at the basket hard, but can't make the shot. Eagles once again, the Eagles defense playing really well at the minute. Eachforth Yates, the point guard, coming over halfway. Determined, gets it to Kelshaw. Horton turns the corner, drives hard against Robb. Makes the 2. Foul going to be given on Robb as well. Ebony Horton having a great start to the game. Going to the line to shoot the extra 1. 7 of Eagles, 9 points to Ebony Horton.
Well, Robb looks in absolute disbelief. I'm in disbelief as well. I thought that was a great piece of defensive work.
Timeout called by Leicester Riders. 5:10 to go in the first quarter. 9-2 the Eagles score is, and we're going to go to an advert. So yeah, we're back. The Eagles up 9-2. Early timeout for Riders. Probably we just haven't scored, Dave. I mean, they've moved the ball okay.
Yeah, I'm a little bit concerned about that foul. I was concerned about one of the calls in the Eagles game last night. I was led to understand from a very, very, very senior official that these little ticky-tackies weren't going to be called this year, and that would make the game so much better.
Yeah, I can guess who that very senior person is.
Well, we mustn't mention him.
No, absolutely not. But yeah, I mean, it didn't look like a foul. I mean, I remember the one you're talking about in the Eagles game made no difference to the player. There was just no need to call it.
It was a terrific piece of defence, as was that.
Yeah.
And players need to be rewarded for terrific pieces of defence.
Interesting, we've already had a few substitutions from the Eagles, but no Abby Lowe as yet. I know this is something that people have been talking about, that Abby Lowe has made a very, very slow start to the season, but I'm sure that with the talent she's got, she'll come good. Ebony Horton on the line with a chance to make it an 8-point game. She makes a free throw. Louise Rouse has come on the floor for the Riders for the first time. She's replaced Oshana Hamilton. Hannah Robb goes to the basket, and 2 points for Hannah Robb. Determined drive to the basket and a great...
Finally, their good footwork that they've shown so far pays off reward with a basket. It's one thing I like about Coach Bunton is he's pretty good at putting on that 2-2-1 press, or sometimes it's a 1-2-1-1. That one looks like a 2-2-1 press. And it does, in my opinion, disrupt teams.
Januska has stolen the ball off Kelshaw, and Riders back on offense. Lappin Cooper's left open, shoots the 3, doesn't make it. Dora Sipic takes the rebound. Here's Horton. Into Gainer. Horton thought about the 3, steps inside for 2. That's a good block by Januska.
Great defense.
And here's Hannah Robb again, and I think she'll go all the way again. Yeah, she does. Doesn't make the shot, but is fouled by Sipic, I believe. No, it's actually Kelshaw that's made the foul. So Hannah Robb will go to the line to shoot 2.
Yeah, I mean, that was such a good move that despite the slight contact, I thought she would, she's got to be capable of making that, because then she gets the bonus. She gets 3 points out of this if she can make the layup. Right now, she's got to do it the hard way, making the 2 free throws. But she's certainly been one of the biggest threats at the moment to the Eagles, I would suggest. I mean, Lappenport, she played last year for them, didn't she? And I thought was pretty solid at handling the ball, but not a great scoring threat. Interesting, no Rachel Bland. Oh, yeah, Rachel Bland's making her first appearance.
Yeah, Rachel's come on now.
Oh, it's a good move, because you know exactly what you're going to get. And particularly if you've got a person on the other team who needs a bit of a defensive specialist on him, call for Rachel Bland.
It's for Yates, was blocked. Yes, Kelshaw. It's hard passes thrown out there. 2 seconds left on the shot clock. Way downtown, East for Yates. 24-second violation.
It was way downtown, Jeff, but I'll give her credit for knowing that the shot clock was about to go off. That's what you want, you know. She's obviously she's a guard, and that's what guards have to be aware of.
Maddie McVicker and Anna Popovich back in. McConna Stone doesn't make it. Just noticed as well, and actually this probably shows why I'm not a professional commentator. I've just noticed as well as Brooklyn McLear Fanna's not been here, Chelsea Jennings isn't here as well. I've just picked up on that one. I wondered why Kate Januskas had started, and that'll be the reason why. So in some respects, Eagles have got to take advantage of the fact that 2 of Leicester's big players are out today. McVicker for 3, makes that one. That makes it 13-5. Stone, Lappin Cooper. Back into Stone. Stone goes against McVicker, and that's going to be an offensive foul for a push-off. Smart D from Maddie McVicker. And this is Eagles, only conceded 5 points so far, and I guess that shows how much Leicester are missing those 2 players I've just mentioned. McVicker brings the ball up. Eats for Yates. Kelshaw. McVicker for 2. It's off. Hannah Robb takes a rebound. Gosh, very energetic players in Hannah Robb. Stone to Lappin Cooper. Back to Robb. Into Stone. Back to Robb. It's between the 2 of them. Januska. Nice ball movement, and Louise Rouse shoots the 3, but it doesn't go. Louise Rouse, a very interesting player as well. She's been in Auckland Wolves for the last 2 years. Moved across to Leicester this year. One of the mainstays of the Auckland side. Good ball movement by the Eagles. Popovich drives in, gets inside, but she can't make the layup. Eagles getting plenty of looks at the basket, but not making them. Stone lobs it into Rouse. That's going to be a travel. Good call by the referee. Abby Lowe comes in for the first time with 1:39 left in the first quarter. The Eagles leading 13-5. Kate Januskas takes a break, and Oshana Hamilton's back in. Each for Yates brings it forward. Bland. Here's Abby Lowe now. Back to Eats for Yates. That's going to be an Eagles ball. Good defensive work by Lappin Cooper. McVicker inbound. Gives it Eats for Yates. She steps back for 3. Off the front of the rim. If that goes dead, it'll be Eagles ball, but no, Hannah Robb does really well to save it. Abby Lowe in there for the steal. That's going to be a foul. Is the foul on Eads for the 8th or is it on Abbey Low? It's on Eads for the 8th.
Don't know, but it was a really nice trap. And what do you tell your players? Don't take the ball into that little area between the halfway line and the sidelines, because you've got an extra defender on you.
Aaron Powell comes in. And Cornerstone takes a break for Leicester. Rob into Lappin Cooper. Back to Rob. Shoots the 3 off the backboard. Doesn't come. Powell gets the rebound. Rob drives again. Is that going to be a foul on? Foul call on Abbey Low.
The way Rachel Bland jumped in frustration there, I thought that was going to be called on her.
Actually, I think it was called on Eads for the 8th in the end. Hannah Robb seeing an awful lot of the ball. Here's Hamilton. Back to Rob. Not so much, more movement from the coach, I think, than was from his players in Leicester there. And Lappin Cooper's 3-point shot.
That was a great drive and a fantastic kick out.
Basket's been called off though.
Oh.
24-second.
Don't think their coach agrees with her.
No, I don't think he does at all. He's very animated, isn't he? In line with the other Leicester coach, Rob.
I mean, in fairness, that was so tight, we'd need to see it in slow-mo, wouldn't we?
VAR, Dave. We need VAR. So Eads for Yates. Kicks it out to Bland. Nice heads-up play by Rachel Bland, but she can't make the shot. Hamilton takes the rebound.
No, but that's a different Rachel Bland, because last year she wouldn't even have thought of taking that shot. She would have kicked it out. But that was a good shot to take, and she is capable of making them.
There's Rouse, Powell, Lappin, Cooper. Once again, the clock ticking down. Hannah Robb. Travel, goal on Hannah Robb. That's the end of period 1, and I was just watching there because Hannah Robb was very, very upset with the referees, and she went across to the referees and said something, and I think the referees were thinking about a technical there, but now the Leicester coach...
I think the whole of the Leicester organisation is unhappy with this refereeing. At the moment, I'm not going to follow that track. I mean, the thing I would be thinking about, if I were the Leicester coach, I wouldn't be talking to these referees. I'd be getting in there into those players, because right now, they're doing build-ups fine, but nobody is producing an end result.
Yeah, Hannah Robb, I think, got nearly all the points.
Yeah. 5 points between them. I don't know how many attempts, but it feels like they've made as many attempts as the Eagles, and the Eagles are just so much more clinical in their finishing.
With 5 points in a quarter, that will not please Derek Washington at all. And as you say, he went a long chat with the referees.
Well, it's good. You know, one thing I like here is these 3 referees are now coming together, and I hope they're talking about a lot of the stuff they've blown absolutely did not need to be blown. And I think we've just got to keep saying it, Jeff. We want this game to flow. We want this game to be exciting for the players, for the fans, and everything else. And it's not going to be if we're going to have a series of ticky-tacky fouls called all the time.
Yeah. Just tend to be the way.
I'm not even convinced Hannah Robb travelled there, to be honest.
Yeah, she just kind of like bumped into it.
Yeah, she was lucky. She was, to me, if anything, she was fouled because she was trying to get a shot off to go to the line.
And I think that was probably one of the things that Derek Washington was talking about. He was very animated on the sidelines. In fact, probably covered more ground than his actual his teammates. His players.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you for your careful note you gave me before the game, which suggested that the Riders were probably going to win this game based on previous results. But what we've seen so far is I don't know how they got those previous results, because you mentioned 2 players were missing, where obviously they must be very, very, very key players.
Well, Chelsea Jennings, in particular, the guard, she was averaging nearly 15 points a game. So, you know, that's a huge thing, isn't it? And Brooklyn McAleer-Fanis, she's been one of these players who is a real leader as well. And, you know, she is on the bench. She is on crutches as well, so that's not really a very good sign for them. But, of course, a lot of it could be precautionary. So, yeah, we'll be looking to Anna Lappin Cooper to provide. She's played I think virtually every minute so far. And she's got the ball in her hands now. Connor Stone back on the court. Robin Hamilton try to find some space. Hamilton does find some space and makes the 2-point layoff off the window. And that's about more like it for Leicester.
It's more like it for Leicester, unless that was just bad defending, because the defender had plenty of time to take get around that player and shut her off from the front rather than fighting behind her.
Maddie McVicker goes for 3, but it's long. Ball comes off the foot of McConnor Stone. Oh, sorry, Abby Lowe. Leicester ball at the sideline. 13-7, 9:26 to go in the half. Leicester with a chance to cut the gap again. Stone brings it forward, guarded by Bland. Stone again, up for a 2-point jump shot, and that's a nice jump shot from McConnor Stone. She makes that one very comfortably indeed.
Well, coach has said something. It's 4-zip so far this quarter.
They've scored 5 in 10 minutes. They've scored 4 in 56 seconds. McVicker, she's going to try and drive to the basket, kicks her out to Bland. Bland
That's
back
great
to
ball
Gaynor.
movement.
Gaynor from the elbow, doesn't make the shot though. Lappin Cooper brings it forward. And the Rouse back to Stone. He has Robb. She drives hard, Hannah Robb. McConnor Stone might have to put it up. Hannah Robb does put it up. It's long though. Chloe Gaynor takes the rebound. Ebony Horton with the ball now.
I think what coach was really unhappy about there was the setting up of that was good, but clearly the continuity wasn't there because he was screaming at them to make the third cut.
Abby Lowe gives it into Gaynor. Gaynor, nice turnaround jump shot over Hamilton for 2. Chloe Gaynor going to work.
Yeah, she's impressed me so far. She's taken a fair few rebounds. She's got herself in good position. She's able to play with her back to the basket.
And she's got, as I said, she's got the guarding job on Hamilton.
She just needs.
Hamilton outside shot, great rebound by Louise Rouse, but she's stripped by a combination of Bland and Horton. Bland was definitely the one who got the ball first. Oh, Abby Lowe saves that one.
Almost got an assist out of it.
Yeah. I think Ebony Horton there probably took an ill-advised shot. I think she could have had the ball to Chloe Gaynor. Yes, Lappin Cooper driving hard, and it's a charging foul called on Anna Lappin Cooper, taken by Abby Lowe.
The Eagles are so lucky there, Jeff. I don't know whether you saw that, but 3 players went after the player with the ball, leaving Hamilton absolutely wide open under the hoop.
It's hard to keep up with Chris Bunton. There's substitutions in and out all the time. Maddie McVicker actually went off there, but in fact it was Abby Lowe who went off in the end.
You could argue that keeps the energy going in the team. You could also argue that they need time to create a rhythm as a team, as a unit.
Yeah, but I think we saw it last night with Manchester, didn't we? Manchester Giants, they rotated in really well all night. Kept players fresh. Marina Fernandez back on. Horton Kelshaw.
Lots of good movement in this Eagles offense.
Lots of great movement. Abby Horton can't quite make the shot, and Lappin Cooper takes it in front of Chloe Gaynor. Anna Lappin Cooper, the German, pushing hard. Gives it to Kate Januskas. She gives it to Hamilton. Oh, what a great steal that was from Niamh Kelshaw.
Don't understand why Hamilton turned her right shoulder there, whereas she turned her left, she had a bank shot.
Kelshaw took advantage of that bad decision and took a really good steal. Ebony Horton going to the basket, makes the 2, and it's going to be a foul on 23, McConnor Stone.
Ebony Horton is a really good example for if we have younger viewers who, young girls who aspire to learn this game, because she can drive equally as comfortable on either hand.
Ebony Horton makes the and 1. 18-9 Eagles lead. And you've just reminded me something there, Dave, when you've said great example for younger viewers. And I'll get it in a minute when we get a brilliant break and play. Great rebound by Maddie McVicker, one of the things she did so well last season for her size. Here's Kelshaw, nice pass to Gaynor, Gaynor back out to Fernandez, Fernandez for 3, doesn't make it, but what a great offensive rebound that was by Ebony Horton, and the Eagles ball, she gets blocked. Yeah, I'd like to give a big shout out to WBBL Reviews Eva Milburn, who's unfortunately not very well, little Eva. She always picks the player of the week for the WBBL review, and I know she's going to be watching tonight, and I said I'd give her a shout out. Get well soon, Eva, we'll miss you in the building. Once again, good battling there by Chloe Gaynor. Ball goes
the other thing I'd like to mention in terms of younger players is next week, Coach Bunting, Coach Drew Lasker and other coaches taking groups of the sort of 15 to 18 of our best under 15 boys and girls next week as part of the Aspire programme, which is a really good initiative from Basketball England.
Good stuff, really good stuff.
Yeah.
And then Drew Lasker certainly getting, he may have retired as a player, but he certainly hasn't retired from
He's a busy man.
Yeah.
He's a busy man. He's got a lot of roles on. He's enjoying them as well.
And a Rob, and a Lupin Kappa, or even Lapin Cooper. Stone does well, gets round the Eagles defence, but Chloe Gaynor again stands well. Each 58's about to come back in. Maddie McVicker does take a rest this time.
The Riders are desperate for somebody who can knock down a shot from the top of the key, because the one weakness in the Eagles defence is they don't rotate out back when the ball's reversed to the point.
Once again, Chloe Gaynor having a big game, another block shot.
I would say she's been one of the players of the game so far.
And Popovich comes in, I think
Well,
Chloe's getting a bit of a rest. I think it's a rest rather than anything else. She's done a really outstanding job. Anna Popovich comes in.
Popovich has got a little bit of height as well. She can probably handle Hamilton.
Januska, Rob on the buzzer and knocks the 3 down. It was almost a Hail Mary 3-point shot, but in it goes. Puts the gap to 6 points, 18-12, 5:25 to go in the half. Each 58. It's Fernandez, back to Kelshaw. Ebony Horton, back to Yates for the 8. There's the 3 goes up, it's not in and out. She has got the range, but not the drop. Yes, Stone. Oh, that's poor defence by the Eagles in that time, although they did recover it well. Ebony Horton, almost driving through like a rugby player. Almost went through 2 players, but she has lost the ball. Lapin Cooper finds Hamilton. Hamilton lays it in for 2, and it's a 4-point game, I believe.
Yeah, one of the hardest skills, Jeff, is in basketball is not watching the ball. Is you decide you want to say, I wanted to have a look at how Fernandez is playing, and I can tell you, she may have been out with injury. Coach Bunton may have been worried about. I don't see what he's got to worry about. She looks reasonably healthy. Actually thought that was really good defence from her on that driving play, because she picked her up in their half.
Yeah, because I think it was Kelshaw lost her, didn't she?
Yeah.
She carried across.
A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors,
He had no hesitation in re-signing her. So
Yeah, history tells me there needs to be a little bit of a think in this Eagles camp, because history tells me over the past 3 or 4 seasons they've had a lot of serious injuries at the start of the season. Now that's maybe the way they hand it. They're expecting players to be fully fit when they arrive. Well, that doesn't always happen. And really, that's a role for the strength and conditioning coach to work out where exactly people are, not where they would like them to be.
yeah, good point. So Eagles back on after the timeout called by Bunton. Horton drives hard to the basket and is in for 2. Ebony Horton continues to rack up the points.
If I was the Leicester coach there, I'd be absolutely livid. She went past 3 players, and even the 4th one didn't try to stop her.
Stone and Rob combining. Ball goes wide to Lappin. Cooper back to Stone. That's a travel.
I have to respect that 2 key players are missing from the Riders, but this is not a Riders performance that I'm used to seeing.
Well, there's been a lot of talk, hasn't there, that the players are lost, and obviously losing the coach as well, who was a top coach.
Kate Oliver was massive and Henrik Stoter were massive to replace.
Yeah, so you talk about really 4 quality players are lost, didn't it? From last season. Ebony Horton thought about the 3 and 4.
The American guard they had as well that they lost.
Yes, Hannah Robb at the other end. Yeah, good drive by Hannah Robb, and she's definitely the player. Well, that's his quick second time out by Chris Bunton. Obviously seen something he doesn't like, and we're going to go to an advert.
I'm just thinking, as obviously we waited for the advert, up to about 2 minutes ago, this looked like it was a replica of the first quarter. That big 3-pointer Leicester hit changed a lot, and suddenly they're back within 4.
Yeah, and I think Chris Burton calling 2 very quick timeouts. Well, the first one obviously was just the first timeout, but calling the second one with just over a minute since the first. But he's made a lot of changes to his 5 there. Abby Lowe back in, Rachel Bland in, Chloe Gaynor back in, Maddie McVicker back in. So he's sub 4 out. Only one he's left in is Ebony Horton. So and he was very, very animated as he pointed to the 5 to sit down, the 5 that he's going to bring back. Abby Lowe for 3, and there's Abby Lowe. That's probably as many points as she's scored all season, but in it goes for 3 and puts the Eagles up by 7 at 23-16. That was as clean as a whistle as well. Yes, Hannah Robb to reply. That one's off. Maddie McVicker takes the rebound, well placed. Abby Lowe gets out ahead. Ball movement good there between Horton and Bland. Stone does well. Gets in between them in the passing lane and knocks it onto Ebony Horton. And Ebony Horton is the judge to have been the last to touch it, and she certainly didn't complain. In fact, she's holding her hand as she runs away, so that's probably a telltale sign. Lappin Cooper faced by McVicker. There's Hannah Robb again. Januska gets the ball into Hamilton. Hamilton turns, that's short. And she's almost knocks Rachel Bland over, but no foul call. McVicker to Lowe inside to Chloe Gaynor. Chloe Gaynor's done really well there. And then Hamilton racing back on defense. Not in the right position when Chloe Gaynor went past her and fouled Chloe on the shot.
Well, I liked a lot of things about that play, is how quickly they got the ball down the floor into the attacking position. Abby Lowe looked like she had a wide open 3, but she saw a really good inside seal by Gaynor and made a nice pass in.
And that foul's earned Hamilton a seat on the bench. Just picks up a second foul. Chloe Gaynor's first one is short, hits the front of the rim.
That scoreboard in terms of fouls is nowhere like the Christmas tree we often get, is it, at this part of a game in the women's game. It's good to see. I thought they were a little bit ticky-tacky early on, but in fairness, I think the referees have talked it over, and I think they've called a pretty good second quarter.
Januska, Lappin Cooper, Stone on the free throw line. Abby Lowe hustling Hannah Robb and causes the turnover. She might not have actually did it herself, but she caused it. Missed. Oh, well, she missed the layup and then got a wide open offensive rebound and nobody on, and she missed the layup again. Rouse, that one short as well. Ebony Horton picks it up. Leicester really struggling at the moment. Is Abby Lowe into Gaynor. Back out to McVicker. McVicker back in. Good play. Wow. That was almost like a netball shot, wasn't it, Dave?
Well, she turned round. I think she could not believe
how much space she had, yeah.
that the close down was okay. She just didn't do the second part of it, which is challenge the shot.
2 more points for Chloe Gaynor. The other end, McCona Stone is short, and Chloe Gaynor takes the rebound, brings the ball over halfway and gives it Ebony Horton. 1:40 to go. Eagles lead by 10 at 26-16. Rachel Bland, McVicker uses Chloe Gaynor well. McVicker gets to the hoop, but she can't make the layup. Januska takes it away. Lapin Cooper to Stone. Stone again thought about the three, but decided against it. Comes back out to Rob. Derek Washington again. Leicester coach really animated. Januska's 3-point shot is way off. Just drops into the hands of Chloe Gaynor underneath the basket.
They're reversing the ball to the top when they don't have an option down the sideline. It's going to the top and then it's going to the other wing. Fine, great move, but neither of those two players are making any attempt to threaten the basket.
And there's a fantastic move again. Ali Lowe's wide open for three, missed the three, but Chloe Gaynor once again took the offensive rebound and put it back in. 28-16, and there may only be 47.3 seconds to go, but Derek Washington wants a timeout, and we'll have an advert.
Well, Leicester coach has got his clipboard out there, and we can't tell from this distance what the play is, but what it should be is, guys, we're reversing the ball, and with the two things is, A, we're not looking for any shots from that reverse ball if they're not recovering, which they're not, or we're not looking for an inside cut as that ball is reversed.
Interesting. I mean, yes, he's got a timeout, so he might as well use it, but 47.3 seconds. I wonder how much difference that's going to make. Obviously, it's Leicester ball because the Eagles scored.
He might have been anticipating this. Yeah, it is a 2-2-1, isn't it? No, it's a 1-2-1-1.
Pressure on the ball by the Eagles. Stone, Lapin Cooper. If we were going to go quick and try and go for a 2-for-1, I'm not sure they're going to make that now. Oh, they might. Louise Rouse in, doesn't make it though. Maddie McVicker saves it. Gaynor tidies it up. Bland to low. Chris Button calling it back. It's about slight difference, I think, very, very slight difference in the shot clock. It's down to 10 seconds now, and there's a foul by Lapin Cooper. Got one to give.
Yeah.
10.2 seconds left, 28-16.
And can you believe, with only 10.2 seconds left, the Eagles have not committed one foul in this quarter.
Again, is that credit to the referees for not only calling the obvious ones or the really hard ones? McVicker for three, that one's off. Chloe Gaynor almost gets a rebound and catch. And that ends the first half, very low scoring, but Eagles will not mind that because they've got 12-point lead, 28-16. And we'll get some stats together for you. Not that there's going to be massive amounts of stats, but we'll get some together for you. And we'll be back in about 10 minutes or so time.
car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail. A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail.
Okay, so welcome back for the second half. Just about 3 minutes to go to the tip-off. I'm just going to have a look at some of the stats. I'll just pick out some of the individual stats. Obviously, Ebony Horton leads the Eagles with 13 points, but their standout performance is obviously Chloe Gaynor with 9 points, 9 rebounds, and 3 blocked shots for an efficiency of 20, 4 of 5 shooting as well. So she's having a really good game. Other than that, Maddie McVicker has 3 points, and Abby Lowe has 3 points. For Leicester, Hannah Robb has 10 of their 16 points. Oshana Hamilton has 4 points, but she's also got 7 rebounds. She's the high rebounder for them. Eagles also, Maddie McVicker's got 5 rebounds, but the shooting percentages as well. Eagles shooting overall at under 30%, 28.9, but that's still 7% higher than Leicester, or Leicester's shooting percentage down at 21.9, including 9.1%, 1 of 11 from 3-point range. Eagles have only made 3 of 13, but that's significantly more. Rebounds is pretty even, 26 to Leicester, 25 to Eagles. But again, Leicester 13 turnovers to the Eagles 6 turnovers. That's a big difference as well. Anything else that stands out for you, Dave?
You can't win games when you shoot in the way Leicester are, but frankly, they're lucky that the Eagles aren't shooting that much better. And there's one statistic there that you would never have dreamed of seeing last season. Maddie McVicker, 1 from 9. That is a stat she won't be happy about at all, and she's certainly much better shooter than that. But you know, you can't argue with the score. The Eagles are 12 up. They deserve to be 12 up, and it hadn't been for a little sort of a cameo attempt to get their offense going in the middle of that second period. It could have been much worse for the Riders. And as you say, 21% is just not going to win anybody anything.
Yeah, I think, you know, we've made it already clear that Brooklyn, McLear Fannis and Chelsea Jennings, I've been reliably informed that it's Chelsea Jennings who's actually on the bench on the crutches with a big moon boot on. Brooklyn McLear Fannis hasn't even travelled. Hannah Robb played all 20 minutes, as did Anna Lappin Cooper. And McKenna Stone 18 minutes and 45 seconds, so it's fairly obvious that Kate Januskas played nearly 16 minutes. So they are short of bodies, but we know we're getting used to teams with short-handed rosters, Dave, with watching the BBL side for the Eagles as well. So they've had 10-15 minutes to talk about things at half-time. What do you think you would have said if you were either coach?
If I was the Leicester coach, I mean, Lappin Cooper's okay, steady, nice safe pair of hands. The one with the energy on and creating things in that team is Hannah Robb. I would give her a run at the point. I would, you know, because this time after time after time, they put the ball to one wing, then swing it back, and nothing happens off that swing back. Neither of the players threatens a three-point shot, and nobody makes the inside cut that they ought to be able to get and seal the defensive player for an inside feed. But the way that shooting is, I can't see how an inside-outside game would help them out anyway. And I agree with you about Gaynor. I think she's been the standout player. Maddie McVicker plays so much better than this, and I'm sure we'll probably see that in the second half.
So the Eagles come out with Gaynor, Fernandez, McVicker, Lowe and Horton.
Yeah,
Riders have Robb, Stone, Lappin Cooper, Hamilton and Januskas.
Yeah, whatever the issue with Abby Lowe has been, playing limited minutes or whatever, she's obviously shown a little bit more capability today, and coaches started her for the second half.
Ebony Horton picks the ball up, gives it to Gaynor, gets it back. Fernandez trying to work around the corner. Good defense by Leicester until that moment there when Ebony Horton once again driving to her left-handed layup in for 2. Eagles go up 30-16.
So much more energy in that Eagles offense than the Riders, isn't there?
Ebony Horton becoming a real star at the moment for the Eagles. 15 points already.
Oh, what did I say about Hannah Robb going to point?
Yeah, good call, Dave. That's exactly where she started. Hamilton tries to burrow in. Januska, that's off. Ebony Horton tidies up for the Eagles. Took a big step, so she had to throw the pass. And nice pass from Abby Lowe. Also good ball movement by the Eagles there. Horton's dancing inside again, but this time she can't make it. Hamilton picks up the rebound and she shouts, go, 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 to Lapin Cooper. Lapin Cooper does go, go, go. Hannah Robb drives along the baseline. Hamilton in for two. That was a nice play by both Robb and Hamilton.
It wasn't an easy pass either for Robb to make, and it wasn't an easy patch
To take.
for Hamilton to take, which she did, and finished.
McVicker into Gainer. Low. She's going to go all the way. Doesn't make the layup though. Januska all the way. It's fouled right at the end. Shot had already gone. Didn't make it though, so it'll be 2 shots from the line. Kate Januska on the line, makes the first. Makes a second. Very good form at the line, makes both. Ten points the gap, 30-20 to the Eagles. 8-12 left in the third quarter. Maddie McVicker, good defense by Hannah Robb and McVicker. Abby Lowe gets in there though and rolls it in for two.
Tough move because she was pretty much past the basket with her body. Great use of the arm extension on the right hand.
Januska does well initially. Didn't get a shot off though. That's going to be a travel. Looking a little bit dispirited at times. Certainly Hannah Robb. She'll keep going though. I think it's just her nature, the way she is. McVicker and Horton. They look as if they're going to be forming some kind of a partnership. Gainer. McVicker. Out the low. That's a travel as well. Didn't put the ball down. I don't know if he was giving out instructions, Eric Washington, or whether he was doing some kind of new dance.
Yeah, Saturday night, strictly come dancing night, isn't it?
I think it was. Yes, Hannah Robb. Good steal by Abby Lowe. That's one of her specialities. Oh, tried to give the pass to Ebony Horton, but just couldn't make it. That's more like the Abby Lowe we know. Yeah, it was just strange. I thought it seemed as if it was. There's Abby Lowe again, hands in and again. This time she's been given a foul. Foul by Abby Lowe. Eagles 12 points in front at 32-20, 7:01 to go. And a Robb into Lapin Cooper. Back to Robb. They've really got to find a way of getting Hamilton into the game for me, because he hasn't established herself as a second scorer at all. He has Stone. She just gets a shot off. And hustle by Lowe. But it's a Leicester ball. Good defense by Marina Fernandez. This looks as one of the specialities possibly that she can bring to this team. Hannah Robb again, way out. Hamilton comes to set the screen. Hannah Robb turnaround jump shot is no good. And that's going to be an Eagles ball. Chloe Gaynor takes a seat. Anna Popovich comes in. We're seeing some of the Eagles' rotations, some of the different looks that we get. McVicker, strong challenge by Robb. Really good defense, but almost gets it away, and they've stolen the ball here, Leicester. Lapin Cooper to Robb, Robb for three, and that one In it goes from Hannah Robb. Cuts it to 9, 32-23. Still 6 minutes to play in the third quarter. Abby Lowe steps back, gives it to McVicker. McVicker, Fernandez. Horton comes round. There's no space for her there. Fernandez, is she going to go to the basket? Oh, what a great pass by Fernandez, but Popovic can't make the layup. Superb pass from Marina Fernandez.
Yeah, Marina's definitely working her way into the game, isn't she?
The corner Stone. Back out, Lappin Cooper for 3. No good. That's off Fernandez. Here comes Rachel Bland and Jessica Eatsford Yates. Marina Fernandez and Maddie McVicker taking a seat. We haven't seen Ori Chukwueto tonight at all yet, Dave, as well. Yes, Lappin Cooper. Nice little move, but Eatsford Yates sticks tight to her, wraps it around. Hannah Robb's shot is way off. Oceana Hamilton takes the rebound, and that's going to be, the basket is going to be good.
Yeah.
And the foul. This time Leicester got the benefit of the doubt on the 24-second call. Hamilton put the basket in, and if she makes this, which she doesn't, it would have been a 6-point game. It's still 7, but Leicester on a little bit of a run, looking just a little bit more potent here. Eagles probably need to score. Bland, Horton, crowded out by Lappin Cooper. Really good play by Lappin Cooper, but Horton keeps going. Abby Lowe sets herself for 3. That's in and out. Hannah Robb takes the rebound. Got to admire Hannah Robb's energy. She seems to be 100 miles an hour in everything she does. The corner Stone.
Her energy is matched by that of the coach.
Yeah. Januskas. Oh, that was in and out, and Hamilton almost snaffled the rebound. Popovic did. Jump ball given. Arrow in favour of Leicester. Timeout called by Leicester, I believe. Yeah, not quite sure whether he needed that timeout at that stage, but he obviously feels he does.
Well, he's either an adjustment he wants to make, or he wants to emphasise that his team are slowly but surely improving their performance, slowly but surely they're working their way back into this game. And they're still struggling, though, aren't they, to make shots?
Yeah, and again... Ebony Horton getting a little bit of attention off the physio. So, to the finger by the looks of it.
Well, you mentioned Ori. As far as I can tell, she's never taken a warm-up top off. Makes me wonder whether or not she's carrying a bit of an injury and
Possibly.
not able to play. I mean, I talked to her after the Eagles game last night, and she seemed okay. Seemed looking forward to the game.
Terrific season last year with her limited experience. Really did well. Hannah Robb for 3. Hannah Robb knocks down the 3. And it's a 4-point game.
And she's taken over, isn't she? She was very, very animated there about how quickly they put that press on.
McVicker gets crowded out. Nice pass over to Kelshaw. Rachel Bland for 2. Doesn't go. In and out. Hamilton takes the rebound. Lappin Cooper with a chance to cut the gap again to 2. Hannah Robb drives in. It's out to Kate Januskas. Yep, she's made 2. It's a long 2. And it's a 2-point game. Eagles were up 32-20, so it's a 10-0 run at the moment by Leicester. Did say before that I felt the Eagles had to score a couple of offenses ago. This Leicester coach is absolutely going wild on
If he's not careful here, he'll be the 6th defender on the floor. Mind he's staying within his box. I guess there's nothing. There's not in any breach of the rules.
Certainly a coach who likes to get involved. Looks like they're going massive substitutions for the Eagles. This button deciding this five's not doing it for him at all. Oh, if the Januska's shot's gone in there, we would have been level. But the Eagles managed to get to the rebound. Popovic sets the screen for Eadsford Yates. Into Popovic. Popovic for two. Makes the two. And Popovic makes it a 4-point game. Nice play by Eadsford Yates to set her up.
Yeah. Nice seal as well by
Popovic, yeah.
Popovic.
Oh, almost a steal from Matty McVicker. Lapman Cooper back out. McKenna Stone turned down it. Really what looked like a very easy 2-point shot. Although good give and go, she goes back inside and gets it back off Hannah Robb. Rachel Bland to Popovic. Back to Bland. He drives in hard, kicks it back out. Each of the Yates doesn't take the 3-point shot. Rachel Bland does and it misses. Lapman Cooper's away. Doesn't make the shot. Oceana Hamilton does get the rebound but can't make the shot. Each 58. Eagles only up by 2. 1:48 to go in the quarter. Into Popovic. Great steal by Hamilton. Januska into Lapman Cooper. Lapman Cooper misses the layup. And here finally Bunton is able to get his substitutes in. Maddie McVicker, the only one to stay on court, as Gaynor, Horton, Lowe and Fernandez all come back. Powell comes back in for Riders.
Yeah, and I don't think coach had any option but to take Hamilton out to give her a broke. She was really
tired.
Yeah.
Yes, Rouse, Rob.
Done a lot of work at both ends of the floor.
Rob somehow gets through the middle but didn't hit the bus. Wow. That was almost a steal.
What?
Chloe Gaynor's judged to have travelled. I didn't think she did, Dave.
She didn't? I thought you only travelled if you stood up.
Yeah. She certainly didn't see the move.
Sure, Marianne knows the rules better than me.
Well, does make you wonder sometimes. Hannah Robb driving her team forward, not the captain, but playing like a captain.
She's definitely been the spark that's made this Riders team tick a lot better in this quarter.
Yes, Januska, she's going in for two, doesn't make it. Great rebound by Chloe Gaynor. Fernandez pushes it to Horton. Horton back to Fernandez. McVicker doesn't shoot it. Back to Horton. Down to 10 seconds. Low back to Horton. Horton for three. It's in and out. Rouse takes the rebound. Gives it to Rob. Rob to Januska. Rob from way downtown. Almost goes. Good hand by Chloe Gaynor. Ebony Horton attacks the basket. Gives it Abby Lowe. Abby Lowe lays it up for two, and the Eagles manage to sneak back the 4 points in front inside the last 30 seconds.
Good transition execution that. They gave that defender no chance the way they split her.
There's Hannah Robb again. It's going to be one tired lady at the end of this game. Powell makes the two, Erin Powell. Oh, great play by Maddie McVicker. Excellent play by Maddie McVicker. Got the ball to Chloe Gaynor. Chloe Gaynor makes the 2 points and is fouled in the act of shooting, and she'll go to the line for one shot. Chance to make it a 5-point game. Remember, Eagles led by 12. The half. Chloe Gaynor doesn't make it, but almost gets the rebound. And that's the end of the quarter. 2.3 seconds left to go. So that's the end of the quarter, and we'll go to an advert.
We're not going to an advert, so
we're not going to an advert.
Not going to an advert. I mean, that was very much a different quarter of basketball. There wasn't a massive amount of points in that quarter, but there was certainly a lot more life and energy went into the game, and I would say that Anna Robb sparked it and looked like she was going to single-handedly lead the charge back from the team from north of the border to close the gap on the Eagles. But you have to give the credit for the Eagles for weathering that storm and finding a way back in to get their own game going.
Hannah Robb up to 16 points personal. O'Shanna Hamilton has 8 points. They're the leading scorers for Leicester. For the Eagles, Ebony Horton has 15 points. Chloe Gaynor has 11 points. And Abby Lowe has 7.
I think probably a good idea to leave Hamilton on the bench. She's been effective in a certain way, but she certainly was showing signs of fatigue in that third quarter. As I say, Rob's been the spark that's got this team going. She's pretty much raised the game of everybody, and particularly number 3, and I'll allow you to pronounce her second name. I know her first name's Kate.
Katie Januszewska.
Januszewska. She's, I thought, had a pretty good end to that quarter. Like, not at all frightened to take shots on, doing some really good defensive work, closing people down. Lacks a little bit of athleticism, but certainly plenty of energy and activity from her.
Somebody who doesn't lack athleticism is Ebony Horton, but she can't make the layup even though she got to the basket. Leicester with an immediate chance to cut the gap again. Here's Lappin Cooper. There's Rob now. McVicker. Big step by Hannah Robb, but she can't make the shot. Chloe Gaynor, McVicker going all the way. Doesn't make it, but great rebounding once again by Chloe Gaynor. And she must have a double-double now. She had 9 at the, and that's an offensive rebound there, so I probably missed 1 or 2 rebounds she picked up in the third quarter as well, but she's certainly got 13 points personal. Probably the Eagles MVP today, I would say.
Well, she's playing so well without the ball. She just seems nowhere to go in offense.
There's Louise Rouse, puts it up for 3, and in it goes.
Well, that's another one who they don't want to get to catch fire.
40-37, 8:40 to go. Eagles up by 3. Ebony Horton trying to get to the basket, can't get there. Throws a bad pass to Chloe Gaynor, and that's all. Unsportsmanlike foul.
That wasn't the best of fouls because it's unsportsmanlike, which puts her on the line and then gives possession back to the Riders, and I'm pretty sure that the Eagles defense was getting ahead of her anyway.
Januszewska makes the first.
One thing that's intrigued me, Jeff, is when I look at these sheets we're given before the game, that Paul Nilsson is down as assistant coach, but clearly not there today.
No, he's not. I was wondering that myself. I haven't heard from Paul, but I'm sure he's watching. Perhaps he's on babysitting duties with his 2 young boys. Big shout out to Paul if you are watching. Hope you're enjoying it. I guess as an assistant coach it's difficult to enjoy it. That's a big travel by Michaela Stone. She didn't look very impressed with the call, but she certainly looked as if she travelled.
Yeah, I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Oh, she was just
She
disappointed
just took
herself.
a big step before she bounced the ball, lifted her foot before the ball hit the ground.
Januska's 2 free throws has made it a 1-point game. Eagles, that's a travel as well from Ebony Horton, and that's a good call by the referee.
Very good call. I thought at one stage she got away with it.
Neve Kelshaw comes back in. Marina Fernandez has certainly given our coach a lot of really good minutes tonight. Here's Lapin Cooper. Finds Rouse in the corner, and Rouse has knocked down a second one, and all of a sudden Leicester are in the lead here, 42-40. And remember, they're without 2 key players as well. Abby Lowe goes hard, and that's going to be a foul by Hannah Robb. I love it when a foul's called like that and then the player puts their arms up after the foul's called.
Well, what's interesting, Jeff, is we knew they had to find some offense from somewhere, and Katie and Rouse were all for 6 between them in the first quarter, and now are knocking down shots for fun.
And Abby Lowe now, no, is she going? Is she shooting? No, she thought she was going to the basket. Eastford Yates puts up a 3, and that one's off. Hannah Robb takes a rebound.
Coach Bunton's made a big decision there, resting Horton and Gaynor.
Yep. Yes, McKenna Stone. Back to Hannah Robb.
Probably 2 points down. He's not worried. He's thinking about what he needs to finish the game out.
Januska pass in there was intercepted by Kelshaw. Eastford Yates. Kels gets back. Januska thought she could knock it in off low.
See, what you just saw there was Rouse getting a hand in there on that passing lane. It's something that the Riders just simply weren't doing in the first quarter. They've really stepped their off-ball defense up this second half.
Eastford Yates back to Maddie McVicker. One of the quietest games I can remember Maddie McVicker having. That layup's not going to go in either. The girl
guess who's first to the loose ball?
Yeah, I was just going to say the girl who's everywhere, Hannah Robb. Lapin Cooper to Stone. Stone starting to come into the game more and more as well. Lapin Cooper running the point. Rouse gets in between. Rebounds off. Abby Lowe takes the ball away. Gives it to Eastford Yates. Back to Kelshaw. Kelshaw for 3. Doesn't go. Januska seemed to get away with push on Abby Lowe. That's a foul by Abby Lowe. She tries to pinch the ball. Ebony Horton coming back.
Didn't think that would last that long.
It's Maddie McVicker that comes out.
What he seems to be doing is rotating players to make sure that Fresh obviously feels it's going to be a tight finish to this game.
Rachel Bland comes
Keeping
off Abby
key
Lowe.
players fresh, ready for the end.
It's Januska. Stone. There's Rouse again for 3. Oh, this one's off. Eastford Yates, smallest person on the court, manages to get the rebound. Ebony Horton tried to level it into Popovich, but she put too much heat on the pass. Lapin Cooper picks it up and goes coast to coast, but doesn't make the layup. Rachel Bland picked up the rebound. Ebony Horton to Neve Kelshaw in the corner. Kelshaw's shot is in and out. Great rebound by Anna Popovich, and she lays it back in for 2, and it's 42-42 as Leicester Riders call a timeout, and we will go to an advert. So 42-42, it's not the highest scoring game. The finishing has been of dubious quality, but what hasn't been of dubious this is the commitment on both sides of trying to get really tough defence, and everybody's scrapping for every ball and every point, and as you say, Dave, looks like it's going to go all the way down the wire.
I think there's been a little bit of a switch in emphasis as well from the Riders team, and just watching the animation from Hannah Robb in that time there, I think they're thinking more and more that they can get at the Eagles on a secondary break situation.
We've certainly been the dominant force in the second half. Momentum with them at the moment, and they've got the ball. The Eagles did just score. Popovich it was who laid it in for two. Lappin Cooper once again bringing the ball up, faced by Eadsworth Yates. Hamilton back in as Stone goes to the basket and lays it in for two, and it's not just the fact that they're in it, there's a belief there as well, or there appears to be.
I think that was pretty much set up in that timeout, because they've brought Hamilton back and immediately gone to a horn set, which is what led to that drive by the wing player.
Eadsworth Yates gets into Horton. Horton's got nowhere to go. Kelshaw back to Bland. Bland has to put up the three. Bland makes the three. Rachel Bland makes the three and puts the Eagles back in front by a point, and the crowd really getting into this now.
That was huge, because that 24-second clock had almost gone.
Stone to reply to the other end. Back out to Rob. Rob's going to go all the way to the basket. Nobody. Poor defense by the Eagles. It's like the parting of the Red Sea as she went through. Leicester back up by a point. Really could go anywhere this game. No doubt about that at all. Horton into Popovich. Eadsworth Yates turns the corner, trying to give it back to Popovich, but good hands by Hannah Robb. Rachel Bland comes out. Chloe Gaynor comes in. This is interesting. I think this may be the first time Gaynor and Popovich have been on together.
Interesting that you take Rachel Bland out, who's a well-known defender for closing shooters down.
Oh, Ebony Horton has it stolen by Lappin Cooper, who in turn has it stolen by Eadsworth Yates, who in turn has it stolen by Hamilton, and now there's a foul on 7 Jessica Eadsworth Yates, who I think will be coming out along with Ebony Horton.
Careless play either side, wasn't it? Just cancelled each other out.
Rachel Bland hasn't been off for long. Back on, as is Maddie McVicker. Horton and Eadsworth Yates taking the break. Hannah Robb, great movement, I meant to say, and got herself open for the three but didn't make it. Rachel Bland to Gaynor to McVicker. Kelshaw, Bland again. Popovich. There's nobody there for them. McVicker pops up for two. And that's saved by Bland, but it's back in the hands of Leicester, who the biggest lead they've had is a single point. And they've got a chance to make it a three-point game, and I think Chris Bunton's called a timeout. Still got all three of his timeouts left as well. Could be crucial down the stretch. He has Robb. He finds Rouse. Rouse's shot is just off. Eagles with a chance to go back in front. Popovich back to Kelshaw. Bland. Popovich working it at the top of the key. Rachel Bland, and then she's just thrown it away. Timeout Eagles. I think we're going to go to an advert.
A car designer cares about even the tiniest detail, which surely should be matched by the way a retailer selects, prepares, and checks every single car. That's what makes a Vertu Motors used car so much more than an ordinary one. Experience this on the phone, online, or with a video appointment. Because at Vertu Motors, it's all in the detail.
So 2:58 to go. Leicester up by 1, 46-45. They'll have the ball when we come back from Chris Bunton's timeout. They've turned it round, Dave, haven't they?
They have uncharacteristic error there from Rachel Bland, and the shooting we're getting from Maddie Vicker is not the shooting we were getting from Maddie Vicker last season.
Yeah, it's nowhere near, is it? Still out there though, Maddie McVicker with Rachel Bland, Abby Lowe, Anna Popovich and Chloe Gaynor.
I don't think there's any doubt about this is the lineup he needs to go with, and we all know Maddie McVicker can just out of nowhere pull a big three out, or a really good drive to basket, which she's also very accomplished at.
The point you made about Rachel Bland's defence as well, she's immediately gone on to Hannah Robb, although she's lost her there, although she's got it back. She lost her and then got back and blocked the three-point shot.
I think she was going with the principle that Hannah Robb's 2 or 3 passes from the ball, but you've got to be in a position to close that player down when you're given that assignment. She was just too far off the help line.
McVicker, 2:39. Oh, that's an easy steal from McKenna Stone. And then lay up, that is a three-point game now.
I can't believe they're throwing these soft, slow, sloppy cross-court passes. They're so easy to pick off.
Abby Lowe goes to the basket, it doesn't go. Lappin Cooper takes it, and all of a sudden Leicester are almost looking dominant.
Well, more purpose about the game, isn't there?
And that's a foul by Abby Lowe.
And if she's not careful, she'll get a tee.
Yeah.
He's warned her, hasn't he? I don't think he's given her one. I think he's just warned her.
Yeah. Eagles showing real signs of frustration. Abby Lowe's 4th foul. Ticking down to the 2-minute mark. Good pass by Lappin Cooper. Robb is trying to find, well, do that instead. She was trying to find Hamilton inside, and the Eagles stepped off her.
I'll give you a coaching lesson, Chala. You close down, you challenge, and then you contain. She did not do the second 2. She closed down and just stood and looked at her.
Yeah. And she just thought, well, I might as well shoot it, and she did. And it's a 5-point gap now. Maddie McVicker has got to get to the basket. Does get to the basket, knocks it in for 2. 1:37 to go, 47-50.
She has 2 big weapons in a close game like this. She can get to basket like that and finish, and she can knock down the 3, especially if she's in rhythm off a dribble.
Eagles have only scored 19 points in the second half. Leicester 34. Here's McKenna Stone, and that was really good play by Lappin Cooper.
In fairness to the Riders, what's happening here is there's something they weren't doing in the first quarter. There was no drive and kick. People weren't shooting with confidence. Right now, their confidence is sky high.
Sure, we had an advert set up.
Yep.
So 1:20 to go, Eagles down by 5. They had led by as many as, I think, 12. Certainly, remember they were 28-16 up at the half, and they were 32-20 at one stage, so that's...
5's not a massive gap at this stage, is it? But there's some things the Eagles have to do. I think Chris Bunton needs to be thinking about this press that he puts on, because in my opinion it definitely disrupts the other team. They've got to make sure they're not throwing sloppy cross-court passes that can get picked off and give the Riders easy looks. And they've got to get their help-out position better. There's too often they're too far away from shooters in the help position.
Eagles have advanced the ball, so it's a 14-second shot clock. Not getting the ball in, they have now. Marina Fernandez. Good defense by McKenna Stone. Fernandez is net there. Oh, great pass Great pass by Rachel Bland. Chloe Gaynor underneath the basket.
Yeah. Well, that's the first thing they've got right. Secondly, they put the pressure on. It's a full court man-to-man, so it really means business.
3 points to gap. Lapin Cooper does well to break that press. Well, not break it, but get the ball over halfway. Inside the last minute, and that ball comes off the leg of Katie Januska. She took her eye off the ball.
I do like Chris Bunton's zone press more than his man-to-man for the simple reason it gives them an option to double-team the ball. And they've had a lot of turnovers when they put a double team on the ball.
49-52, 53 seconds to go. Eagles with the ball. Chance to get either level or within a point.
Plenty of time here. You just need a good shot. Don't necessarily need a three.
Well, Ebony Horton thought she was going to get to the basket there, but O'Shana Hamilton had other ideas and got a great block in.
Good drive, just a better block.
But the ball's gone dead over the end line, and it's Eagles' ball. Still 10 seconds on the shot clock. Yep.
I hope they've noticed that where that 24-second clock is.
And there's Mark Vicker for three, but it doesn't go. But Fernandez takes a great rebound, and she reverse layup, just comes out.
That was tough because it was a difficult shot, and I thought she'd pulled it off.
She's fouled straight away. Eagles are in the penalty, so I think it's Hannah Roberts going to the line. 31.7. Button's still got one timeout. Is he thinking about taking it?
Yeah. The Riders have the luxury, though, Jeff. They've got 2 fouls to give.
And they've got Hannah Robb on the line.
If they were behind, that would be a problem, but they're not. They're in front. And if she hits this, then those two to give are vitally important, and she has done.
Both, yeah. So that's a 5-point gap, 49-54. Eagles have got to go very, very quickly. Mark Vicker going nowhere at the moment. She's going to try and get the rebound. Hamilton takes that. That wasn't a really clever shot by Maddie McVicker, who's really had, by her standards, a very poor game, I'd have to say, Dave.
Shooting-wise.
Yeah. She looks very, very frustrated.
You look back on this game, and those 2 sloppy cross-court passes that got picked off, just being deadly.
Meanwhile, to the end, Hannah Robb knocks it down again. Misses the second. Fernandez gets the rebound. Maddie McVicker sent into the corner. Fernandez drives hard, but nothing given. Kate Januska, she's fouled. A bit of Joan going on between Hamilton and McVicker. Timeout called by Chris Bunton. 9.2 seconds left to go, 49-55. Not sure what he can achieve in that time, but you never know. Especially as it's Leicester ball. It's got to be a very disappointing loss if it ends up as a loss when you're playing against the Leicester side without probably definitely two starters and their captain and top scorer, and you're 12 points up at least twice.
I think that there's 2 sides to this story. One is you've got to give the Riders credit for an improved second half performance. They've taken advantage of some pretty careless passing by the Eagles to create good transition movements. They've shot much better in the second half, although it would be nice, I'm not 100% certain about that because I don't have the stats in front of me. But I think Chris Bunton's going to watch the end of this game and just start to question some of the decision making by some of his players.
Yeah, it almost feels at times as if they've panicked a little bit. But there's no doubt at all we have to give a lot of credit to the Riders, I think, the way they've come back. And as you said, people taking shots who weren't taking shots.
He rested Hamilton when she was clearly really tired at the end of the third. He gave her a long rest. She's come on and been effective. Rob is, without question of doubt, the MVP of this game if they go on to win, which they will.
And this girl at the line, Katie Januska, she's done a job as well.
Yeah, and the other one who surprised me by how much he's improved is Rouse.
Yeah. Ebony Horton going to the basket, makes the two. 2.7 seconds left. It's going to be an Eagle foul, is it? No. Well, it is. Or has time expired? I think it was 0.8 or something left on the clock.
Well, one of the referees has got to decide whether he called that a foul or he called time. Because if he called a foul, they've got to give them the shots. Because who knows about the head-to-head later on in the second time they meet.
Okay, Januskis it is. It's going to the line to shoot two. 0.1 on the clock. Well, now they've made it 1 second left on the clock. Not going to make a lot of difference if she makes these two, and she's made the first one. And the second. She's been clean from the line. Ebony Horton flings it to her. And that's I have to say, Dave, that's a fantastic win for the Leicester Riders. Short-handed. They showed an awful lot of character in that second half to turn things around completely. And the Eagles, well, one or two of them not necessarily looking as if they're very happy about things.
Well, you know, it's early season. They haven't played well so far. They've had issues to sort out. They've got, obviously, a season-ending injury for one of their key players. They've had another player who's come back. I thought she did okay. Looking for better things as they go along. I just think that they made too many careless decisions at critical times in that last quarter. And yeah, credit to the Riders stepping up the game in the second half.
So that's it. I'm not sure when we'll be back to speak to you again and bring you a game, but I hope you enjoyed it if you watched it. And if you're a Riders fan, I'm sure you definitely enjoyed it. If you're an Eagles fan, well, there'll be better days ahead. The finishes here today at Leicester Riders 59, Newcastle Eagles 51.
Well, just one thing, Jeff. If they want to see the team next week, they don't have very far to go. It's the big derby against Durham.
That's right, yeah, sorry. It's a good point. Is that Saturday, Dave?
Yeah.
Yeah, next Saturday. It's Durham versus Newcastle in the big derby game. That might well, if that one's streamed as well, worthwhile watching. Or if not, if you can get down there. Are spectators being allowed in, Dave?
Yeah, they are, yes.
Yeah, so that would be a really good trip for everybody to make next Saturday. Get there for that game. But for tonight, that's the end of the game. And as I say, congratulations, Leicester Riders.